what my concern or what I need to probe for with you is work that was allocated to them on or about January or during January 2025. Yes. Can you turn to file 2, page 283? Are you there?
I am the Commissioner.
Thanks. So you'll see there that that is a notification of deployment or for deployment that is addressed to the directors of Kubis 85 Security Solutions. See that?
I can see it.
And you see that this was signed for by Mr. A.L. Piri,
Yes, I can see that.
who is an inspector for Assets Protection Services
Correct.
at the time.
Yes.
And then these are up from page 283, just to avoid any just being tedious. These are same other notices of deployment that were signed by him. I think there's just 2 that were not signed by him. I'll just get back to those. But what I want to probe is just remind us, where does Mr. Piri fit in the command and in relation to you within TMPD?
Thanks, Commissioner. Mr. L.A. Piri is an inspector within the Asset Protection Services. He is working directly under command and control of Dr. Elvis Madihlaba. Dr. Elvis Madihlaba. He reports and he accounts to Dr. Elvis Madihlaba. Dr. Elvis Madihlaba, in terms of the structure, he reports to Reginald Mahlangu, even though he is assigned a duty to be responsible for Asset Protection Services operations.
Thank you. If you may go to page 300. This is another notification for redeployment. So the others are notification for deployment, but I don't know why this one is redeployment. But what we see there is, again, it's directed to Kubis, and then Dr. Madihlaba is the one citing. Is it the same Madihlaba you are referring to?
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay. Now, I want to just check something with you, or probe something with you. In terms of the powers or the responsibilities that Mr. Piri has, is he empowered to allocate or deploy services
He
or
is-
allocate sites?
He is not, Commissioner, empowered to allocate sites.
Okay. And we've had evidence from other persons like Commissioner Faro, Deputy Commissioners Peace and Police that indeed he was not so authorized.
Yes.
You confirm that. Okay, I don't need to go there. Now, were you aware of these deployments?
I was not aware of this deployment, but at the time when it happened, I must inform the Commissioner that I became aware of deployments involving GUBIs late in 2024, around December. When I received a call from GUBIs, and the call was about them complaining that they have been rendering ad hoc services. It's almost 7 months. They have not been paid. And I asked the caller as to which ad hoc services are you talking about? How did it happen that you are involved in ad hoc services, right? And you do not get paid, yet from where I am sitting, every service provider who is involved in ad hoc services, which were processed procedurally and formally, right, is not complaining about payments because the the ad hoc services are paid from the department that has requested those services. And his explanation was that, yes, when they instructed us to deploy on the sites, they informed us that they are going to pay for the services. And I posed a second question to the caller. Then why did you not make my office aware, right, of these deployments? He said, no, we took it light because the Department of Water and Sanitation sent us letters to deploy, and they said they are going to pay for those services, right? And during that discussion, there was no mention. I was not aware of the sites in question, the number in question, but I was made aware that those sites are many. And you are saying, we have now taken the matter up with the office of the CFO in order to try this issue resolved. Right? Look, from where I am sitting, you are aware that this ad hoc services, what you call, they were not given to you procedurally. And you are making, of course, my life very difficult to introduce me at the end when there are problems. But nevertheless, since I'm responsible for the function, right, inquire about this ad hoc services. I'm going to who instructed you guys to deploy and so forth and so on. So when time goes on, indeed,
Apologies. When is this call? You said in December 2024.
it was in December 2024, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thereafter, from January, February, March, they were in my office and Kubis, including the Department of Water and Sanitation, around these ad hoc services. And it was during those interactions that, yes, it was said by Water and Sanitation Department officials that no, we were we were going to pay for these ad hoc services, but something happened, the budget is not allowing. Then the question was, but guys, you know there is communication citywide, which communication says when there is a request for ad hoc services to be deployed, such a request should be directed to my office so that I can make sure due diligence is done. And for the purpose of the commission, due diligence, I meant the requesting department would send me an email, for example, requesting ad hoc services. I would acknowledge receipt of this email and go back to them to say, colleagues, from which vote number are you going to pay this? They would then come back to me, provide me with the vote number, GL account number, from which they will be paying for the services. And thereafter, I would then instruct the office of Dr. Madlanga, right, to go and conduct security risk assessment on the site and or sites to which ad hoc security services are required. They would go, they would come back, then I would then say, we need to allocate the company that is going to be able to execute and or perform these functions, and we take it from there. So once we have agreed, we then get the quotation from the company in question, and we send it to the requesting department for them to approve. When they have approved, then we deploy. Once we have deployed, it becomes now the responsibility of my office through operational management team under Dr. Madlanga to ensure that they are treating those sites like any other site whereon we have deployed security officers. Unfortunately, Commissioner, in this case, this procedure was not followed. Hence, my statement to say, I knew after a very long time, and part of the communication with them was sent me through details of these invoices and all of that, just for me to be able to know which sites, how many guards were involved and all of that. Because since from the beginning I was not, either by either by the department concerned or my colleagues. And they shared that information with me. And yes, along the way, discussion about these outstanding invoices, right, was between my office and them. And I became aware that at the executive management, There were discussions, there were meetings, there were emails exchanged, systems, but at that level, I never participated, I was never informed of come on board. Normally, it's my superiors who sit in there. Then they would come back, like they did in respect of these invoices, to say, explain to us how it came about that these ad hoc services were allocated. And in my explanation, I said exactly what I'm telling the commissioner. It was in black and white to my superiors. It started initially with Deputy Chief of Police, Commissioner Bolays, and after Commissioner Spies was appointed, he also requested me for an explanation. The same explanation that I'm giving to the commissioner, I gave it to him. And as I was morning, I would receive emails as part of people who assisted on those emails. Hence, I could see that there was discussion, high-level discussion about these outstanding invoices. There were proposals and or options suggested at that level where I was not invited to make any input. Such emails, unfortunately, due to the fact that I'm not having access to my office, I cannot avail to the commissioner now, but I made a commitment I can avail them as part of my evidence to the commissioner afterwards. Thank you.
Director Malachi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Do you
Commissioner.
remember what the question was? Do you remember what the question was that Advocate Sikakane asked you?
I thought, okay,
I'm trying to understand what you are answering.
okay.
Because at one point you spoke about ad hoc services that were procured by other departments. And when invoices came, there was a phone call to you and you knew nothing about that, which is fine. But then halfway through your answer, you were dealing with allocations that were done through your department. And your answer got confusing because we got lost there. So let me ask you this question. Who is authorized in your department to issue the type of letter that you see on page 283? So the notification of deployment letter, who in your department is authorized to issue it?
Primarily, it's myself,
Yes.
right? It's myself who's authorized, or I can, with instruction, right, allow Dr. Malihlaba or Piri or any other to say allocate the what you call.
Now, in January and February 2025, did you issue such an instruction to either Piri or Madihlaba?
I did not, Commissioner.
So when did you first become aware that this allocation letters were given to Gubis 85?
To be quite honest, I don't have the exact date, but it's now recently.
No, it can be now recently because in March 2025, you knew that these letters had been issued
Okay, thanks.
to Gubis.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Don't thank me. It means you're not answering truthfully. You just said you only learned recently.
Yeah.
When I corrected you, then you thank me.
Okay.
I want you to concede that on the 12th of March,
Yes.
2025, you knew that sites had been added
Yes.
for ad hoc services.
Yes, I know. I knew.
Yes. And I don't want to go further ahead. Advocate Sekakane is still coming to that part. I will ask my questions when we get there. But focus on the question that is being asked so that your evidence is structured.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Madlanga. Commissioner Kumal. I think we at least we've gotten through the point where we are certain that these notices for deployment, you didn't issue any instruction to either of the individuals. But there are two preceding points that I would like us to go through. One is, how does this ad hoc work? We are getting very sort of not so clear answers about how does it work practically. When does the need arise for ad hoc services outside the normal services? And in relation, my worry is in relation to sites that are already subject to SLAs, how do ad hoc services come in? Can you just explain to me? And obviously this is part of your responsibilities as a manager and as a director for those services.
Ad hoc services arise the moment the department realizes that there is a need for security at either of their sides. And they would...
Sorry, which department? Any department within the city?
Any department.
Just give us details properly,
Okay.
yeah.
Any department within the city, the moment it realizes that they need security outside the ones that they are having, right? It becomes ad hoc security services. And they would send a request, or they should send a request to TMPD, my office, right, for those services. And once those services, those requests are received, my office would kickstart the process of making sure that due diligence is done before the actual deployment is effected. So due diligence, Commissioner, would include it would include my office acknowledging receipt. I would instruct the operational team to do the security risk assessment. And once they are done with that, I would identify, right, a need for a GL account from the department to commit that they will be responsible for the payment of that ad hoc security services that they are requesting. And I would go back to them to say, kindly provide GL account from which these services would be paid for the period that you are requesting. They would do that. And also the issue of, we will then get the quotations and get them to sign, approve those quotations. Once this process is done and we deploy, I instruct deployment of the companies or identified and approved by the department. I must make a mention that ad hoc services is the responsibility, payment thereof is the responsibility of the department that is requesting ad hoc services.
Thank you. And where you would...
Mr. Malaji, I'm noticing that your afternoon answers are very long. Can you please try to shorten them?
Okay, okay. Commissioner.
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Kakan.
Thank you, Chair. I'll try to move as well. So you say that in relation to these ad hoc services, well, there was a call with Kubis and yourself,
Yes,
and they were complaining that they had rendered services,
correct.
ad hoc services,
Correct, Commissioner?
and out of interest, was it they were contacting you, your office, out of escalation, or you know them?
I know them like, I know them, they're part of the contracted security service, and yes, I know them.
And who in particular were you in a discussion with on this from Kubis?
There is one Mr. Calvin Madlanga, I think he's the director of Kubis Security Solutions.
Okay. And when they were
from them through him to say, in order for me to be familiar with this, I would need evidence, facts pertaining to the deployment sheets, the sites, and who requested you guys to deploy on those sites and the like. The entire information was submitted to my office.
And did you request internal reporting? That is from your officials now.
To be quite honest, no, Commissioner.
So did you then, how did you ensure that what the information they gave you was accurate?
My focus at the time was to confirm the accuracy of that information. What I did was to check with the department, right? Since they were saying already they are they are complaining to the CFO's office about this. And the department officials confirmed that indeed these allocations were done. That's what I did, yeah.
So I must take it that you did double check and were satisfied that these services were indeed done.
I confirmed the knowledge by that department, right, in terms of deployment, request and to deploy and whatever. That was done by myself. And as to whether the services were done, yes, there was a meeting in which I wanted the company to check, to confirm as to whether they did render the services. And yes, they confirmed that internally they had their guys monitoring to ensure that those sites are manned and At some point, they were even confirming with me that from asset protection services, they were monitoring exercises done on those sites. They produced evidence to that effect.
Okay, so just so that I understand, did you then speak with your team, or you spoke with the department that was requiring services to check whether the services were rendered?
I spoke with my team. We were meeting regularly about this, and they were confirming that indeed, yes, these services are in place, and they were saying to me they are monitoring, right, the deployment of this, the guards on those specified sites. That's what I've done with my team.
Do you recall earlier on you said you didn't get a report from your team?
No, I meant, Commissioner, yes, I recall I said I didn't get a report from my team, right? I meant prior to me knowing about this deployment. My team members did not talk about it.
Okay, so you were satisfied that these deployments were done?
I was satisfied because both the department and my team members confirmed that indeed these guys were deployed. Yes, I was satisfied.
Just to round up on just on this point, would you be able to get confirmation or evidence of that, or a report from your team and emails?
I should be able to get it. I should be able to get it.
Okay, please note it as part of what needs to be done. Then, if we're still at page 283, are you there?
I am.
Thank you. Now, I've been going through these, but what's peculiar to me is how does these deployment work? These ones are signed or issued on 14 January 2025.
Okay.
You see that? So the one that you were having a discussion with Gobes, which ones were those?
I'm not in a position to specify. They were the whole lot of it, a lot of them. They were the whole lot of them. So I am unable to say to the Commissioner whether this was part of them, and also I looked at it from an overview point of view.
And obviously, with these notices for deployment, I would presume they work forward, not backwards, as an instruction. So meaning using the process you're detailing, you would get an email from a department that they need a service,
Yes.
and then later on, you then issue an instruction for deployment.
Yes.
Now, would you accept that these ones, on the face of them, it would not have been the ones that you were talking about, because that one, you were talking about other ad hoc services prior to 14 January 2025?
I agree.
But let's just get this clear. The ones you were discussing with Gubis in 2024, Was there a notification for deployment in any of those which was issued by an employee of your department?
Not that I was aware of at that point in time.
So the notifications that you saw or you obtained from Gubis when you were doing your investigation, who had signed them? The deployment letters.
Part of the evidence that Gubis presented to me included correspondence, email correspondence between the department officials and Gubis themselves. That was part of the evidence.
So then why did Gubis come to you to complain about non-payment? If they were deployed by a customer department and the notification of deployment was issued by a customer department, why was Gubis coming to your department to complain about payment?
I wouldn't know, Commissioner, but I think they realized that whatever they were promised would happen was not happening. And as they knew the procedure, right, they thought Director Malachi would be able to help us get paid.
Because it seems to me that the only reason Gubis would come to you is because they were armed with letters from your department that deployed them. Because if the letters had been issued by a customer department within the city of Tshwane, then they would have gone to the people who issued the letters to say, pay our invoices. There would have been no reason for Gubis to come to you or your department to complain about non-payment if you did not deploy them.
I agree with you, Commissioner.
Yeah, but if you agree with me, then your answer does not make sense. Why did Gubis come to you to complain about non-payment? And why did you proceed to investigate those allocations if they were not authorized by your department? Because all you needed to say was, my department did not allocate ad hoc sites to you. Go to the person who allocated ad hoc sites to you.
Commissioner, in the process of us discussing this thing, right, it was my office with Gubis, it was my office with the department that allocated ad hoc services to Gubis, right? And I think they came to me. The reason for them coming to me is because they were not winning with the department. As it was said, the department promised to pay for those services. And at the same time, they were not getting what they hoped to get in the office of the CFO, right? They were like, Director Malachi, what do we do? Hence, I was on record to say to them, guys, you ignored the process, and you chose to do what you did. And now, afterwards, you are coming to me, right? So, I believe that part of the reason would be they believed, no, Director Malachi will help because they got these deployment letters in their possession, you see? Something that I was not aware at that point in time, that they've got this deployment letter signed by officials from my office.
The new deployment letters.
Come again?
When you say they came to you because they were armed with these deployment letters from your office, you are now talking about the 2025 deployment letters?
I'm talking about deployment letters pertaining to the outstandings that we spoke about in December, right? And yes, I would also, in the same breath, right, talk to the one that it's attached here as evidence of January 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Skakani.
Can I just follow up on that? With the December one, you say it's the Department of Water and Sanitation that had said to them they should deploy additional security.
Yes, I'm saying that.
You agree? That's a December one. It's Department of Water and Sanitation
Yes,
and your department.
yes,
So it's in fact your department. The Water and Sanitation Department identified the need, maybe spoke to Gubis, but your department did the deployment letter.
yes, they signed the deployment letter.
So it's your department. It's not Water and Sanitation that appointed them. It is in fact your department because your department issued the deployment letter.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, so your department was responsible to ensure, having issued the deployment letter, your department was responsible to ensure that they get payment, right?
Yes,
The way that you're explaining how it works.
okay, yes.
Okay. Is there anything that was done wrong in that deployment, the December? We're talking about the December one, where your department issued a letter. Was there anything wrong done with that deployment?
Commissioner, the December issue was, as I indicated earlier on, I received this call in December, and they were saying they are owed. It's almost 7 to 8 months, right? And I am saying yes, with regard to those invoices, which will also include the January invoices, right?
No, if you got a call in December, it doesn't include the January
Okay,
invoices.
it's fine. I
So
hear you.
let's stick to 2024 for now.
Okay,
You get a call in December, and it's about non-payment
yes,
for the past 8 months, you say. And you say the department that requested that service was Water and Sanitation,
yes, Commissioner.
and that's ad hoc services,
Yes, Commissioner.
okay? And your department issued the deployment letter
Yes,
for those months.
yes, in terms of that.
Yes, so my question is, with all of that, is there anything that was done wrong by your department when it issued the deployment letter?
Yes, because due process was not followed,
Which is what?
Which
What is
is-
the due process?
to ensure that when there is a request for ad hoc services, we do security risk assessment, we confirm with the department requesting the services that they are going to pay for the services so requested. We go further to confirm with the department the vote number, right?
Okay.
The vote number from which they would be paid, so that once the deployment is done, we don't have a situation where after the fact we are asking ourselves who's going to pay. By the way, ad hocs would not be, under normal circumstances, would not be paid from normal annual operational budget of my department.
So you say all of that was not done. You found those processes were not followed. As the director of the department, did you do anything about the fact that processes were not followed, or you just facilitated payment to be made and that was the end of the matter?
What I did was to interact and liaise with a view to determine all of these things. It's fine. But in terms of maybe taking disciplinary action against my officials, that I did not do at the time, and I take responsibility for not having done that.
Why? Why did you not do it?
No, I think, Commissioner, time was not just allowing for me to, immediately after I became aware, right? Even my seniors, right, were aware, because this thing was already at the office of the CFO, right? And at that level, interaction was happening between my office, office of the CFO and office of the Chief of Police. At the same time, the office of the Chief of Police was investigating this thing. Hence, an instruction came to me by Deputy Chief Commissioner Paul Hayes to say, there is this issue of ad hoc services. Kindly explain why these things had happened unapproved, and then which sides were involved and all of that. So it took me time trying to get the information together. This could have affected my thinking to contemplate. We're focused on this because there was too much noise. And so I'm saying, for my office not to take responsibility against these implicated officials, I personally take responsibility.
Yeah.
It was not right.
I'm not at this point asking you to take responsibility for it. I'm asking you, why did you not hold the person responsible? I mean, if this was done effectively and lawfully, according to you, because it doesn't comply, or irregularly at the very least, irregular because it doesn't comply with the ways of doing things, you find out in December, you're suspended in July, I think you said to us.
Yes.
So you had a good 7 months to take disciplinary action against a subordinate, and you did not. And in January, we now have Mr. Malachi, Mr. Piri signing further documents, maybe because no action is ever taken. Maybe precisely because you don't do anything when you become aware in 2024 about the 2024 ones. You don't do anything about it. It sends a message to Mr. Piri and others that this is okay to do. You can do this and get away with it. And so there's more to it than I take responsibility for doing nothing. It is perhaps you abetted, consciously or unconsciously, you abetted this kind of conduct where things like this are done, money is paid, and there's absolutely no consequence for it. And then a Piri does this in January and February. You still don't act about it if you ever become aware of it. But maybe that's why he does it in January. It's because you've signaled as head that there will be no consequence to this kind of thing.
Commissioner, at a point when this issue was raised, my focus was on getting to understand. I got to understand, whilst understanding, there were requests from above to say instructions, please give us explanation. And I did give explanation. And yes, I do not want to say to the commissioner, it was right for me not to take steps, right? And further, I think it was wrong of my colleague to continue doing something that by January, for example, they were aware that what has happened the previous year was wrong, and they continued doing it.
What was it? Let me ask maybe one last question. For those previous months where you say things were not done properly, who in your department gave those deployment letters? Was it Mr. Piri again?
Yes, I understand it's Mr.
So
Piri.
even for the 2024 ones, it was Mr. Piri?
Correct.
Thank you.
Just one thing from me. When you finished the investigation in relation to the December ad hoc allocations, and you formed a view that those allocations were irregular, why did you not stop them then? Why did you allow them to continue? Why did you not instruct that all ad hoc allocations stop pending the finalization of an investigation?
It came to my realization, Commissioner, that though this was irregular, there were already discussions at the top, which involved executive members, right? And it was not easy for me, right, knowing that even my superiors are aware of this. I remember in one email, I even suggested to my superior that maybe we should come together, have a discussion around this thing.
Continue.
Okay. I even suggested to my superior that in response to his request for the background, right, maybe we should come to a table to have a discussion around this anomaly. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, I did what he was requesting me to do, being to provide them with information. Yes. But now the question is, why did I not stop?
Yes, that's the question. Why did you not stop it? Because you could have, you are the head of this department. Mm. Why did you not stop? You become aware in 2024
yes,
that ad hoc deployments are being done irregularly. Mm. And they are costing the city of Tshwane millions of rands. Mm. Millions. Mm. And you do nothing about it. You don't stop them, you allow them to continue. And my question is, why did you not stop them? And it can be an answer to say there were discussions about non-payment of invoices. There should not have been invoices to begin with because those allocations were done irregularly.
Commissioner, from the explanation, actually, let me not say that. I did not, as I did not, right? I found it not difficult per se, but I would say my mind and any other one's mind, including my colleagues at the top, right? That discussion was that discussion was not at the fore at that point in time, right? Hence, it came at a later stage that this should cancelled and, you see? So, it was,
Director Malachi, you're not answering the question. Why did you not stop it? You don't have an answer. You don't know why you did not stop it. I want to move on to the 12th of March, when you were given an instruction, page 241
okay.
of that bundle. Page 241 of file 2. Are you there?
I am there.
So if you start at 244, you will see that the chief of the police becomes aware
Yes.
that their ad hoc services, they are not approved, and then gives an instruction. So on 243, there's an email of 12 March 2025 at 16:04. Do you see that in the middle of the page? 243,
243,
the email of 16:04 on 12 March 2025. Commissioner Spies has now been given an instruction, and he says who approves and mandates ad hoc security services? Who decides to give this instruction? Who decided to give instruction for this, and how is this process managed? And then it continues to the next page. Ball Hayes is asked who approved, but the instruction to you is on page 241, top of the page. This is addressed only to you. And you are now given a clear instruction that you must stop deployment of all ad hoc guards with effect from tomorrow morning. In other words, with effect from the 13th of March 2025. But you did not do that. You didn't comply with this instruction. Why?
it was not possible, Commissioner, to stop deployments of all ad hoc guards. I'm saying it was not possible because it is not all ad hoc security services, right, that were not, that were having problems with payment. Other ad hoc security services allocated to other departments, right, they did not have a problem. Now, I had a problem with the instruction being, what you call, cancel them all. I had a problem with that.
So you refused to comply with this instruction?
No, I did not.
Did you comply with it?
No, I did not cancel them all. I did not comply.
Did you cancel any? Even the irregular ones? Did you cancel the irregular ones?
They were ad hoc services.
Director Malachi, did you cancel ad hoc deployments that were irregular after this instruction was given to you?
I requested Commissioner Spies to put it in writing.
This is in writing.
Yes.
This is in writing to you.
Fine.
It's an instruction to you. You are the head of this department. Did you already knew in December
Yes.
that some of the ad hoc deployments were irregular?
Yes.
When I asked you earlier, why did you not cancel them? You said there were discussions with your superiors.
Yes.
And that was your excuse.
Yes.
Now, 2-3 months later, your superiors are giving you a direct instruction to cancel these deployments. And you did not do so because you say you had a problem with it. In other words, you were happy for the city of Tshwane to continue incurring irregular expenditure.
It is not correct, Commissioner. I was not happy. I am not happy. This irregular ad hoc services, right? The Commissioner must appreciate that. They were initiated by water and sanitation.
But they don't have authority. You've just said only you can do that.
I
The proper
agree.
process is that you must do that.
I agree.
Now, your superior, the Deputy Chief of Police, on the instructions of the Chief of Police, instructs you to cancel all ad hoc guards with effect from tomorrow morning. You say, I'm not gonna do that because I have a problem with the instruction.
No, not necessarily. Commissioner, I'm being honest. I've not said I will not do that. I remember
So let me cut you short. Which one did you cancel? Which deployment did you cancel after this instruction?
there was no one that I cancelled. But from Commissioner
No,
Space,
I didn't ask for
Okay.
buts. I asked you, which did you cancel? And you say you did not cancel any deployment.
correct.
So you did not comply with this instruction in its entirety.
Yes, because this instruction, in my view, right, was inclusive of those that did not have a problem, right? I'm aware that the commissioner is saying, what about this that were allocated irregularly, right? I think there I had an oversight, but
No, but why is it an oversight if there's a clear instruction? An oversight is something that you overlook. Here, it's a direct instruction to you from your superior, and you disobeyed that instruction. And the city continued. I mean, these invoices, it was 14 million every month that the city continued to incur. I'm only talking about Gubis. I'm not even referring to other ones. You knew that they were not regularly given, and your superiors say to you, cancel them tomorrow. When you were suspended 4 months later, you still had not canceled any of them.
I agree because, Commissioner, bear with me. When these ad hoc services were dished out, right? They were dished out by Water and Sanitation Department with the understanding between them and the service provider that they would pay from them. So, though my explanation will not hold water, right? The bottom line is, maybe if the commission gives me an opportunity to go and check in my record the response that I gave to Commissioner Space. It is not true that I blatantly refused to carry out his instruction, right? But it is true that as we went along, what transpired is that he ended up identifying COBIS, Triotic, Mogalagali Security Services, and those ad hoc services were terminated. I am the one who called them into a meeting. Actually, I'm the one who drafted a letter for him to sign, and I called them into a meeting, right? I handed those letters of cancellation over to the three companies.
And that was what, 4 months later?
It was around, yes, it could be around more.
Let me help you go to 246.
246.
And that was on the 24th of June, 2025.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes, I can, I see.
Yes. And yet you say, at the time that you did not immediately comply with the instruction, which was for you to terminate the ad hoc services, the very following day being the 13th of March, 2025. I'm looking at page 241, the email from Deputy Chief Spies. You say your only problem at that stage was that the instruction was inclusive of ad hoc assignments or allocations, in respect of which there were no problems. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes, Commissioner.
So you must have been aware as early as at the time you knew that the instruction was inclusive of these other allocations as to which ones those were. Or it should, at the very least, have been a matter of relative ease for you to identify which ones did not have any problems. Not so?
It's so, Commissioner.
And so why would it have taken you from 12 March 2025 to 24 June 2025 before you could comply with the instruction?
Commissioner, I still maintain that I exchanged communication with Commissioner Ribospis from this date in the run-up to when the cancellation was effected. So
Remember you agreed when Commissioner Khumalo was engaging you that this issue was something that you were engaging in with others as early as December of the previous year. You remember you said so in response to a question by Commissioner Khumalo.
I do, Commissioner.
Now, surely, if your view was that there were no problems at all with some of these entities, as early as December of the previous year, you should have been beginning to see which ones have no problems at all and which ones do have problems as early as December of the previous year. Maybe even that is kind to you.
Commissioner,
Not so.
it's so, Commissioner.
It is so.
Yes.
So now eventually, in March, 12th of March 2025, you get a direct categorical instructions, terminate these with effect from tomorrow, which was the 13th of March 2025. Why did you not do that in respect of those companies that you saw no problems, or rather, in respect of those companies that certainly had problems, or in respect of which there were issues? Why did you not do it on the 13th of March 2025?
Commissioner, I'm aware that there were discussions around payment of these companies, okay?
No, Mr. Malachi. The issue could not have been around payment. The issue was around the propriety of the allocations. It was not about payments. The issue with regard to the instruction, terminate this, it was not really about payments.
I agree with you, Commissioner.
So why do you bring in the question of payments?
No, I was trying to make the Commissioner aware that maybe the reason why I could not comply with the instruction at that point in time, it was as a result of communications that I was monitoring, communications.
What communications?
They were email communications involving my supervisor, Commissioner Spies, and others. But now, I might have made a mistake.
The content of or rather, what was the content of those communications? What were the communications about?
The communications were about paying for these services, right? And participants were suggesting.
But could you not have terminated the service and sorted out the question of payment later? Why must the services continue, piling up the need for more payments? That doesn't make sense to me. Why not terminate immediately and sort out payment where payment was indeed due? Sort that out later.
I think, Commissioner, like I said, that could have been, actually has been an oversight on my part.
A serious oversight, serious oversight. Do you agree?
I agree.
Commissioner.
Add to that, it's actually it's more serious than an oversight, because we know that in January and February, when PIRI issues these deployment letters, which you have already admitted he didn't have that kind of authority, and he didn't get that authority delegation from you. You never delegated him to do that. We know that in January and February, he caused an expense of 14 million rand. Just goobies. I think it's just goobies, the 14 million or 12 goobies. It's 2 million rand, which is not, in the circumstances, is not a big difference. But he cost that much when in December already, you were in a position to give him instruction not to issue any deployment letters further. You were in a position in December to give a directive to the departments that all requests must come through you or you must be copied. You were in a position to do that. And you did not. You failed to do that. And I want to put this to you, that in fact, you were the effective cause of that 14 million rand expense of January and February, because you chose not to stop PIRI, not to instruct him to stop any further letters of deployment for ad hoc services. You chose not to tell departments to direct their requests to you. You chose not to tell the service providers that all instructions must come through you, or they must confirm with you that it is approved. All of that as head of department was within your power, and just you alone. You had that power to do all of that. You failed. As a result, the municipality, because of PIRI, incurred a 14 million rand expense. And I don't think you should calmly sit there and say it's an oversight. I think you should take full responsibility for that expense, because it was well within your powers to avoid it, and you dismally failed, either because you chose to look the other way and not stop it when you knew you had the power to stop it, or you were grossly negligent not to stop it. It's not oversight. I don't know if you want to comment, but the sum of what I'm saying is you are responsible for that irregular expenditure of 14 million rand.
Commissioner, I think given the way things have transpired, at the end, yes, but I want the Commissioner not to lose sight of the fact that there is a department that which irregularly from the beginning, right, ignored the instruction, right, the instruction that the city has issued to all group heads in the city of Tshwane, to the effect that every ad hoc security services requests should be directed to Asset Protection Services, TMPD. Therefore, I don't think it would be fair for the commissioner to put all of these things squarely on my shoulders, yet I am not the cause of the problem. I happened to be in the bandwagon because I had a responsibility, something that I accept. But in terms of the cause of the problem, the department said they would avail funds to pay for these services. And the department went further to instruct Kubis to deploy security officers on sites that they identified themselves, right? Which is not wrong because it is their site. But now, at that point in time, right, I was not involved. I was not aware.
You see, if your department did not issue a deployment letter, if Mr. Phiri did not issue a deployment letter, maybe let me ask you the question, rather a question. If Mr. Phiri had not issued a deployment letter, would Gobis have been at the site without a deployment letter from you? Because I've looked at your service level agreement. It provides for contact people. It says you may be given, you may be asked to do certain things, but it must be in writing, right? So I've seen that in your service level agreement. Had your department and Phiri not issued a deployment letter, would there be an obligation on the department on the city, in fact, to pay for services that are done when Gubis doesn't have a deployment letter?
The answer is yes, Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner.
Yes.
Right? Because the information which I do not have at my disposal now, right? But I will talk to that information for the information of the Commissioner, is that the department instructed Kubis to deploy security, ad hoc security services on sites that they have identified.
Let me read for you 8.2 of your service level agreement. It says, should it be necessary, the city may request the service provider to provide it with such additional services, which once agreed upon by the parties, which agreement shall not be binding until reduced to writing.
Yes.
So, your service level agreement tells the service provider that you have to have something in writing, which constitutes an agreement between us and you. Phiri issues a deployment letter, which is signed by Phiri and by the service provider. So there is an agreement, right, between the city and the service provider. So what I'm putting to you is, if Phiri had not issued a deployment letter, there would be no written agreement between the city and, in particular, the department that's responsible for administering these agreements, right? There would be no agreement between the service provider and the city. And if Gubis went on to do the work, the city would be able to say, well, we don't have an agreement with you. It would have a defense to that. But Phiri has denied the city that defense. So you can't blame the department. The department requires the service, yes. But you have a service level agreement that says it has to be reduced to writing. And Phiri does exactly that. And my gripe with you, or my issue with you, is, had you stopped Phiri in December, when you became aware that Phiri is a free agent, he goes about doing things that are way above his pay grade, when you became aware of it, had you stopped him, the 14 million rand that was incurred for January and December would not have happened. It wouldn't, as a fact, it would not have happened.
I agree, Commissioner.
Yes, and that's my basis for saying you are responsible for that financial cost to the city, which is caused by Phiri, and you are responsible by omission. You failed to act. And the question is whether, was it deliberate that you don't act when the facts called for you as head of department to act? Did you deliberately hold off and therefore created an environment where Piri does what he does? Or you were negligent? And if you were negligent, it's grossly negligent, which in fact borders on intention.
Yes, Mrs. Kakula.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you for the indulgence. Mr. Malachi, you had been taken to the notices for deployment, but I just want to go back to the 2024 ad hoc instructions. And I think factually we've established that, and you've stated or testified that those ones were irregular, the ones in 2024. And can you then accept, and obviously with hindsight, that that would have cost the department or the city a lot of money?
Yes, it has cost us.
And it is your role as a manager in that department to also prevent wasteful and irregular expenditure. Do you accept that responsibility?
I do. I do.
Apologies. Thank you. Then can we then move to the 2025? Now, I want to just probe out of interest. What's the level of interaction that you have with Kobus?
The level of interaction that I have with Kubis is almost the same level of interaction that I have with all of the contracted security companies. It's official, it's informed by the relationship that is governed by the SLA and contractual terms and conditions, TMPD 20.
Mr. Malachi, please try to speak up. I appreciate that it's late in the afternoon,
Okay.
but I could barely hear your last answer.
Okay. I was saying, Commissioner, thank you. I was saying the level of interaction with Kubis, it's the same level of interaction that I've got with other service providers who are part of the 22 entities.
Thank you. And so do you regularly have engagements with them via telephone?
Relationship. I don't have any special relationship with Kubis in particular compared to others. The relationship is.
And roundabout, they would have been appointed in 2021, 2022, roundabout. You would have had several interactions with Kubis.
I had several interactions with Kubis, including the rest of the 2020, more especially around about that time, because that was when the contract was starting, that was when the deployment was kicking off, and immediately after it kicked off, that was when I interacted with them for operational reasons. By the way, as the director responsible for the function, I meet with the service providers regularly, right? Even though sometimes it doesn't happen, but in terms of the service level agreement, I'm to meet with them almost every month, and I hope the Commissioner understands my response.
So you're saying and essentially that is what is called contract management. So you're saying that you meet with the service providers monthly? Is that what you're saying?
In terms of the service level agreement,
No, I'm
but
saying factually.
factually, yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And is that detailed somewhere?
In the service level agreement,
No, I'm saying report or minutes of some sort.
company directors' minutes are there, right? They are kept in the office. And yes, there should be evidence to that effect. I must bring it to the attention of the Commissioner that even though the service level agreement says, as director responsible for the function, I should, but sometimes such meetings take place with me not being there as a result of engagements here.
And between November 2024 and March 2025, how many meetings did you have with Coopers?
I wouldn't be sure of the exact number of meetings, but there is a record to the effect that we had meetings whilst discussing this issue of ad hoc services. And there was also a time when we met for me to hand over termination letters to Gubis and the other two companies.
No, that would have been in June 2025. I'm saying prior to that, January, February, March, December, did you have any meetings with Coopers or Mr. Madlanga?
Not to my knowledge, not to my remembrance.
Okay, thank you. I think the commissioners have taken you through the irregularities of the purchase of the notices for deployment.
Yes,
And I don't want to belabor the point. But just to summarize, I think it is established that let's just call them the 2024 deployments were irregular, and the 2025 January deployments, which we have in file, were equally irregular. Can you accept that?
I accept.
That's what we have established. And at the time, you were responsible for this, for the APSS, albeit there's other people involved, but you were at a senior level.
Yes, Commissioner.
And then if we go to page 238 of the second file, file 2, apologies. Can we go to, let's start at 418. That's the end of the file. It's just one question that we're dealing with, and then. Are you there?
Yes, I am there, Commissioner.
Would you recall this exchange between yourself and Velino Ndule? Essentially, just to refresh your mind, he's complaining about unlawful happenings, in particular, At page 414, he talks about irregularities. At the second last paragraph or heading, he says 13 requisitions have been created by yourselves to the tune of 8 million without invoices, and yet you expect me to blindly release these requisitions. Only you can provide a better explanation to your supervisor and the chief of police on those, and I will be given a go-ahead to release as the cost center owner upon clarity. But do you know anything about this? Do you recall what gave rise to this?
Maybe just he answers, Advocate Skakani, identify the email, the date of the email, who's the addressee, who is it addressed to, then go to the specific paragraphs.
Apologies. The email starts at 413. It's from Velin Wandule, directed to yourself.
Yes, sir.
It copies Umashi Dlamini, amongst others, including Commissioner Boles and the CFO and the Chief of Police. You see that. And the subject says RAPSS dash open bracket none close bracket payment of service providers.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah, so I just am interested your recollection of these and what he stated about these requisitions that were created without invoices.
I do not recall. I do not recall myself creating requisitions without invoices. I do not recall that, Commissioner.
Okay. Would you be able to retrieve if you responded to this email? Do you know if you responded? Do you recall whether you responded to this email? Because it's a serious accusation.
I remember exchanging emails with Velin Mantule, but as to this specific issue, I'm not sure if this specific email forms part of the exchanges that we had. But yes, I should be able to go into the system and then revisit communications that I personally made with Director Nandule and confirm if it relates to this, and then, yes, see what were my response to these allegations.
Thank you. And I think to be fair to you, I will give you that opportunity to do that amongst other things, to retrieve your emails that would either disprove or confirm what you've been stating this afternoon. So I won't take the point further on this for now. We'll just park it.
Okay.
Can I just ask Mr. Malachi, this payment issue, this payment issue here that is in these emails, is this the one that we were discussing earlier when you say you were called by Gubis and informed that they were not getting paid? Is it the same issue?
Commissioner, I am not sure if it is the same issue because there were other invoices, there were other ad hoc services invoices,
Okay.
which are different from this.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you. Okay, let's go back to page 238. Apologies. Again, as I said earlier, I won't belabor the point, but what we see is this is an email. I think Commissioner Kumalo had taken it through to this email. This is an email from Commissioner Umashi Dlamini, dated 12 March 2025, and it's addressed to Rivers Peace, copying, amongst others, the Chief of Police, Commissioner Boles, and yourself.
Yes.
And he raises a point in the email that there's overspending that is linked to ad hoc services and ad hoc duties. And then he's requesting that funds be made available for ad hoc duties. You see, at the end of the email.
Okay.
He's saying further that you explore the possibility of engaging the requesting sister department, which is, I think, I don't know, but I think you had spoken earlier about water and sanitation, and to persuade them, and he'll have to answer that, persuade them to engage the CFO to approve or make funds available for ad hoc duties. That upon approval and availability of the said funds, the necessary journal be made accordingly so that our budget is not overburdened. Correct? Now, in your management of these, because your office would be the one that manages these services, correct?
Correct.
As we went through. Now, did you share his sentiment that the ad hoc services were increasingly out of budget?
I did, yes.
Okay. And you will see that attached to that email, you would have known, is at 239, item 6. And basically, I think it's just a list of the sites and the invoice amounts that were owed, so to speak, that had been allocated as at that time.
Yes.
And can you confirm that that's the attachment that you are aware of?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. And you see that in this attachment, we have essentially 3 entities that invoices are being pushed for. Because
Yes.
this email does not talk of the 22,
Yeah.
it is specifically 3 entities.
Yes.
Now, there is Triotic Mkhalahati, but I want to concentrate on Kubis.
Okay.
Kubis is allocated sites of a total of 37.
I can see, yeah.
Correct. Now, can you explain, and in a normal world, it would have been that you would have gotten an email, this according to the process you were detailing. You would get an email from a department, I would imagine these are all from water and sanitation, that would be requesting these services, and you assess them, and you see that there is indeed a need for these services in a normal system process, correct?
Yes.
And then you would then, let me say your team,
Yes.
but ultimately you will sign them off
Yes.
ordinarily.
Okay.
You will then say, I'm appointing, I'm signing these notices of deployment to these people so that they can provide security services.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No, I'm saying
Okay.
we're talking at a just general level, normally. That would be the case.
Of signing out this number of sites to one company.
I'm saying the process. Earlier on, you talked about
Yes.
there would be a request for services,
Okay.
it would come via email to you. You make an assessment of the need,
Yes.
then you then issue a notice for deployment, correct? So I'm saying in relation to these sites, generally, in a perfect world, that would have been the process followed,
That would have been the process followed.
correct?
And what I want to say going forward is, given the set process, right, I wouldn't allocate such a number of sites to one company. I wouldn't, because that in itself would create a challenge, right? Not only for me, but for the city. It would even create a challenge with other contracted service providers once they realize that Gubis is allocated 37 sites at a go, and some are not even allocated one. Hence, I'm saying I wouldn't allocate such a large number to one security company.
Director Malachi, this document that we are looking at on page 239, remember Advocate Sikakani showed you that it is an annexure to this email on 238.
Yes,
Do you
yes,
see that it's an attachment? Sorry.
yes, yes.
And then in that email, they say 30 additional sites were added in January, and then 6 were added in February.
Yes.
Now, if you go to this document on page 239, it talks to ad hocs only for the month of January, because if you look at the top of the page on your left, the third line, it says January security ad hoc. Do you see that?
Yes, I see, I see.
And this is January only. Now look at the cost on page 240. So you're looking at easily 17 million rands, because it is that 14 for Gubis and then the 3 million for the other companies. Do you see that?
I see.
Now, there should have been no difficulty with you identifying which are these additional 36 sites, because you have them in this attachment already. So when you were instructed to stop them the following day, all you needed to do was to go to this document and say, which are those additional 36 sites? I've been instructed to stop them tomorrow in order to save the city at least 14 million rands a month. And nothing stopped you from doing that. So your answer that some of them were previously authorized by customer departments, it does not help you, because these ones are the additional ones which are the subject matter of this email. And it is on the same day that both the chief of police and the deputy reverse peace instruct that they be cancelled. Do you see that?
I do. I do.
So you didn't have to go out and conduct an investigation. You have that list attached to the email. It was not difficult to say, looking at this report, which are the additional sites that were added in January? Because you get the months there, it tells you, for example, Klebgat, you know it's October 2024, item 1 on page 239. So you don't have to. And then you look at Refilwe, and then you've got the item there. And then the other ones that are added without dates. Just looking at this report, it should have been very easy for you to identify which additional sites were added in January and February and to cancel them the following day. Your explanation that others were previously allocated correctly simply does not hold water.
Commissioner, the instruction was saying all ad hocs, right? And what came to my mind was, this was not the only ad hocs that I was instructed to what you call, to
But
cancel.
I'm asking you about these ones. Why did you not cancel these ones? Because with these ones, you can't say they were previously allocated correctly. The email tells you that there are additionals from January and February. And your chief of police, Chief Faro, says there's no budget for this. There's no money. And this is 17 million every month.
Commissioner, I agree. Like I previously said, that it has been an oversight on my part, but Commissioner, please allow me to go and revisit this communication, because here we are dealing with one-sided side of the story. And as to whether I responded to this instruction, how I responded, the commission is kept in the dark. I'm not implying that somebody might have done it to hide information, but I'm saying, as far as this is concerned, can the commissioner allow me to go and check as to what were my reasons for not carrying out the instruction immediately, if any? If it happens that I did not respond to this email positively or negatively, you see, that would then mean there was this oversight, or the commissioner said negligence on my part. But can the commissioner allow me time to go and check these specific emails in particular? Because I know with this one, the previous one, right, there were exchange of information. But as to why what I responded, how I responded to, is not part of this email, I wouldn't know. But I'm not suggesting that somebody has played it naughty to, what you call me, out of the picture. But I'm requesting the commissioner to allow me time to go and look into this and respond. If I did not respond, I did not carry instruction, I think well and good, I will accept that I did not call it through. I've got
Continue.
I've got a reason why I'm pleading with the commissioner to. I've got a reason why I am pleading with the commissioner to allow me time, right, to go and have a look, right. I got it difficult to access my office for the past 9 months or so to date, because conditions of my suspension, they included that I should not find myself next to any office of the municipality, right, except when I'm called upon to appear before the hearing. So, as I was preparing my statement, it came to my attention that Mr. Rivers Peace issued an instruction to some of the officials that are in my office not to give me any piece of information that I might need in order to prepare myself for today's testimony. So I asked myself, and I'm continuing to ask myself, why would that be the case, right? What is it that Commissioner Spies is hiding, right? What is it? Maybe he issued this instruction so that he could manipulate communication systems and all of that. And when I appear before this commission, right, there is only one side of the story. The other side of the story, the commission is not hearing. But this can only be decided upon by the commission when I am given that opportunity, and I would request the commissioner the commissioner to direct a communication to the city of Tshwane and get the TMPD management, right, to allow me access, right, to my office, to allow me access to my colleagues with a view to try and get information that might assist the commission to do its work. Given what transpired not long time ago when I was preparing my statement, I am worried. The instructions so issued have created an environment of fear within the department. Those have been expressed with me by people I believed they are able to assist, right? And it really made my testimony very difficult, if not rendering it ineffective. Because somewhere I would be asked a question. Some of these questions, if I happened to have access to my office, right, I would have, as part of annexures, evidence, attached them, right? I think let me stop at this. The rest will follow as we go down.
Mr. Malachi, you are at liberty to supplement your statement. The evidence leaders will assist you to source whatever documents you require. I'm sure that with the communication from them, that will be quite easy to achieve. And then as to whether you will give testimony again with regard to what you are able to elicit from what's available, that is with regard to whether that will be in the form of a statement, a supplemented statement, or whether it will be by way of oral testimony again, that's something that will be decided down the line. Does that satisfy you?
It does, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Malachi, just to conclude on this point, you were suspended in July of 2025, right?
All right.
But before your suspension, the city of Tshwane had to follow the terms of the collective agreement. And you were first given the opportunity to explain why you should not be placed on suspension.
Correct.
Correct? Because, and that would have been in June, it would have been a month prior to your suspension, correct?
Correct.
And by that point, Commissioner Spies had investigated your conduct, and he had established that, as far as he was concerned, you had committed misconduct. The invitation to you to say why you should not be suspended was premised on the fact that he thought you had committed misconduct.
Commissioner, under normal circumstances, it should be like that, but I want to bring it to the attention of the commissioner, that I got suspended in July and also received charges and whatever. But it was in September, if my memory still serves me well, that I received a call from the investigator who was calling to say, Mr. Malachi, I'm calling because I'm investigating this case of misconduct against you, and I wanted to check if we could meet just to take each other through what the allegations are. And my response to the caller was, thanks very much for highlighting that. But I'm
Malachi,
not-
I don't want to do this to
Okay.
you, but you are going to the period after your suspension. I'm more interested in the period conduct.
Yes.
And that had been investigated, at least the preliminary investigation was by Commissioner Spies up to June, because you were invited to give reasons why you should not be suspended in June, and then you were suspended in July, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And those reasons related to your failure to manage these ad hoc deployments, correct?
Not correct.
So what were you suspended for? What's the reason that was given for your suspension?
There are two reasons. I'm talking to the charges. I failed to declare directorships. To declare all directorships of my companies. Number two, I failed service provider. Who, whilst they are deployed, right, had,
Better.
thank you.
Because those are not the charge sheet.
Oh, okay, no, fine.
Thank you. So please make a note of that, but the evidence leaders will assist you.
Okay.
All right.
How much longer do you think we will be, Mrs. Kakan?
Chair, can I try and ask for 10 minutes maximum?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, maximum. Some of these points have been canvassed. I think we've accepted, and I think in relation to what you've spoken about as one of the charges was that obviously with your management, what has happened as a matter of fact is that a lot of money has been paid, which is irregular, and that's where, and it benefited some service providers within and amongst them it's Kubis. In these, you said in your statement, just to be pointed, paragraph 27 of your statement, and perhaps you can assist me if I'm interpreting it wrongly. You say, I'm unaware that Kubis 85 Solutions Pty Limited received many allocations for the provision of ad hoc security services. Now, if you compare that to the attachment, would you still maintain that statement?
No, I wouldn't maintain, but I would rephrase the statement to say, before I received that complaint, I was not aware. But now that I've seen this, and immediately after, when we started engaging about their complaint, it came to light that they, right, I would not, what to call this?
Okay, no, fair enough. I was just raising it so that we rephrase it accurately about what transpired. Now, in all this correspondence in email, you say also that your immediate superior, am I correct to say it was Sean Boles
Yes, before River Space.
before there was peace?
Yes.
And generally, what was his role? Was he also aware of these ad hoc services, or did you inform him?
After
That's in relation, I think let's stick to the 2024 ad hoc services, the deployments for 2024. What was his level of involvement?
no, as far as I remember, right, he was not aware, as much as I was not aware prior to December, but after December, he became aware that there are these ad hoc services, and then we started exchanging, communicating around them. He started asking me for reports. He started wanting to know from me, right, how it came about that these were allocated. And so on.
But equally, he didn't stop those services.
Exactly my point.
Okay. And then in this exchange and the direction that you have, if you go to the page 243 of file 2,
Yes, I'm there.
this is an email from Rivers Peace to Commissioner Dlamini, copying, amongst others, the Chief of Police and yourself.
Yes.
And Rivers Peace asks, who approved and mandated ad hoc security services? Who decided to give the instruction for this? And how is this process managed and managed within the department? Right? What is not apparent in all of this exchange is your response. And perhaps you are going to deal with it in your supplementary. But what we don't see is you, the person that deals with these services within your department, does not at least give clarity that, no, I'm aware of these things, or I'm not aware, I'm going to investigate. There is no interaction that at least we have in our position. But perhaps to be fair to you, maybe you can look whether you did respond and say, and interact or reacted to this message. Can I just give you that indulgence rather for these purposes?
I know I responded
You
to
did
this.
respond, okay.
I did
What
respond.
was your response?
My response was this ad hoc services were called upon, were requested by the department, not requested, were done by the department, and I based my response on information that I gathered during investigation, right? And I went further to say, it is said the requesting department has committed to paying for this, what you call. I even indicated to Commissioner Space that this has already been communicated to your predecessor, right? I attached information that I communicated to his predecessor, being Commissioner Polais, on the email.
Did you tell Deputy Commissioner Spies that Mr. Piri is the one that approved these deployments? Because the question wants to know who approved and mandated the ad hoc security services. You know at this point, in March, that Piri is responsible for this. Did you tell, in that response that we are going to see from you, do you tell Commissioner Spies that it is Piri that approved?
Not specifically, Commissioner. I did not tell Commissioner Spies that it is Mr. Piri, because at that point in time, I was of the view that this were requested directly by the department from the service provider. But given the clarities that we went through today, right? Yes, I agree that whatever Mr. Piri was done, obviously on record indicates that it was my office that was allocating, but to be specific, I did not indicate that to Commissioner Space.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please note that I think we would need that to be provided, just so that you also have your version properly. And obviously, if you turn over at page 342, this is now an email from Chief of Police that is directed to Commissioner Spies. And what is clear there is that she's expressing shock. The email is dated 12 March 2025. It's all happening at around 4 p.m. She then exclaims that there are 30 additional sites only for January, but we can't belabor that point. And you see there he asks Polais to also explain who approved it.
Exactly.
And are you aware if Polais also responded?
I'm not aware, but I'm aware that Commissioner Polais wrote to us to respond and or give background as to how it came about that this were done, and we did that.
Okay. Would you then also include that part in your supplementary statement? Thank you. Commissioners, the part that is left apart from the supplementary issue is, and I think the others would be circulating around the same point, is the working relationship with Commissioner Rivers Peace since his arrival at the TMPD. Perhaps I can just ask
if you could take Mr. Malaj back to his statement, perhaps, because I think that part is dealt with there.
Apologies.
I'm saying perhaps you may take Mr. Malaj back to his statement, because I think that is dealt with.
Yes, I'm taking him there.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, I'm saying
Thank
the
you.
other points in the statement, because we're just working.
Thank you.
Please go to file 1. What I was perhaps trying to, and I'm going to request Mr. Malachi that he tries and summarize it rather than read, page sentence by sentence.
Maybe to be fair to him, so that he does not say I was not allowed to
Read it.
say what I needed to say. If he starts from paragraph 26, the heading, and reads towards all the way to the end, and then if anything arises from that, then it can be dealt with briefly.
Okay,
So that he
that's fair
doesn't
enough.
say, for example, you didn't allow me to say what I wanted to say in paragraph 28.
No, that's fair enough. Thank you for the guidance. Please, would you do that from paragraph 26 of your statement?
The heading here is generation and or creation of purchase orders for Kubis 85 solutions during February to June 2025 for ad hoc services. The reasons why Kubis solutions received a disproportionately large number of allocations for the provision of the ad hoc services. My response to the question, I did not generate purchase orders for Kubis solutions during February to June 2025 for ad hoc services. Purchase orders are created by the responsible finance officials at the MPD head office. I'm unaware that Kubis Solutions received many allocations for provision of ad hoc services. However, I'm aware that Kubis Solutions has been one of the reliable service providers. On 27, Commissioner, I think we just needed to rephrase it. When I'm saying I'm unaware, right? I meant to say before 2024 December, I was not aware. But since soon thereafter, I became aware that they were allocated this.
But that does not help you because the heading, the question is clear to you that the period is February to 30 June 2025. So if you now want to change your statement to refer to 2024, that was not the question that was asked. You were asked to deal with February to 30 June 2025. That's what the heading says.
Okay, no.
So rather concede that you were incorrect.
I was, Commissioner.
Thank you. You can continue.
Whether I requested Deputy Commissioner Umash Lamini and or Commissioner Yolande Faroto to request funding in respect of TMPD2. My supervisor requested funding. I prepared the report, it should be the report, and the Chief of Police, the municipal manager, approved the funding request. I've attached here the report marked TP4. Umash Lamini was not involved in the funding request.
Mr. Malachi, in this case, your supervisor is who? Is it Bolhays?
In this case, my supervisor was Mr. Nabapilay.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And again, to be fair to you, maybe the way the question was posed, the documents you attached as TP4 cover the period when protection services was not with TMPD, because if you look at all those documents, they cover the period up to June 2024. So I think the question that you were being asked related to the 2025 year. So maybe the way it was framed created problems. So if you go to TP4 on page 11, for example, you will see that the documents you attached are for the year ending 30 June 2024.
Okay.
Whereas the question that should have been asked to you related to the 2025 year. So maybe when you supplement your statement, you can deal with that question, but focusing on the 2025 year.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Because the 2024 year, you were still under, who was your supervisor then? It was not Bolhays and it was not people in the TMPD.
Yes.
It was the city manager.
Yes.
So this is not helpful for that purpose.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
My supervisor, okay. My working relationship with Commissioner Rivospis since his arrival at the TMPD. Mr. Rivospis was appointed as a Deputy Chief of Police Asset and Protection Services on the 1st of March 2025. I have attached the employment advertisement which led to his appointment, marked STP 5. I noted that the employment functions of Mr. Spies, as reflected on the employment advertisement, are the same as my employment responsibilities. There is no material difference from my employment functions and his employment responsibilities. Mr. Spies then introduced himself.
Is that correct, though? Not that it's an important issue, but to the extent that you are putting it out there and you're placing it on a record, maybe it does need some clarification. I'm looking at page 26, which is the advert, and under primary functions, right at the bottom, it sets out what he's supposed to do. You see where I'm looking?
Page 26.
Page 26 of that same bundle. It's the advert itself that you have attached. You've attached the advert as TP5. The same file that has your statement.
Okay.
If you look at page 26, right at the bottom, you have primary functions, and so it sets out the functions of that position. And if you consider that with the earlier document, which is your functions and responsibilities at page 6, if you go to page 6, keep page 26 open, and then go to page 6, I don't see that it's the same primary functions. Unless they're written differently, but mean the same thing.
Yes,
They're not the same on the face of it.
I agree with the Commissioner.
Okay.
I think a mistake here was made with regard to the actual advert that called upon Mr. Spies, Rivo Spies appointment. So here I attached Group Head, City Strategic Organizational Performance. I should have attached Deputy Chief of Police, Mr. So as part of supplementary, I will rectify it.
Okay. All right. But that's fine. I think you can do that as part of the supplementary, but can we at least agree that on what is before us, what you have said in that paragraph in your statement, that the functions are the same, not according to the advert that you were relying on. It's an incorrect advert according to you.
Yes, no, I agree. I will rectify it.
Thank you.
What's this advert for then, the one you've attached at page 25?
This advert, I think the reason why I made mistake, this position was advertised with Commissioner Rivospis advert and others. So I think
That's not answering my question. What is this advert for? Your TP5 at page 25, what is it for?
this is for internal external forum. This is for the position of Group Head, City Strategic Organizational Performance. I mean the one that is attached here, which is not about advert for the
Deputy
position.
Chief
Yes.
for the APSS.
Exactly.
All right. Please continue reading your statement.
Okay.
You on paragraph 31?
Yes. Mr. Rivospis then introduced himself to me and my work team as my supervisor on the 5th of March 2025. It was after lecturing us about his experience, including arresting and dismissing corrupt police officials. He made a mention of his involvement in the closing of one of the police stations in Soweto back then, where police officers were alleged to be involved. So he gave me that. He was actually introducing himself as such, and he went further to inform us that he has got valuable experience in the policing field. He has been with law enforcement for almost 40 years. He served in various capacities, from Old Pretoria to Old Benoni traffic, until there were amalgamations. He became part of the new Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Department. That he has been Deputy Chief of Police in Ekurhuleni. So he was giving us his background, and he was giving us his, due to a complaint by Mr.
Did you read the last sentence of 31? Maybe you did.
Mr. Smith subsequently reported, misconduct allegations against me in June 2025. This is what has led to me.
That's why I was saying to you, it was misconduct in June 2025.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner. Due to a complaint by Mr. Spies regarding the alleged misconduct, I was then suspended in July 2025 pending outcome of the disciplinary hearing process instituted against myself. Mr. Spies is the main witness on the same reported allegations in which I was charged. Our working relationship is therefore not a police rank one, is not registered as a security practitioner. That man or woman.
Or perhaps let me ask a different question. From the fact that someone was acting, in this position, yes, that must make sure, not so. In what position would Commissioner Paul Hayes have been acting if the position was not so?
It's so.
You just said so.
The issue of the structure. Let me clarify, Commissioner, the issue of the structure with respect. The issue of the structure comes into the picture. In terms of the scenario of peace, if there is indeed corruption, it could be
right? Then that leaves his boss because he reports to somebody. So it's either you have to say who it is, do you say is guilty of that corruption? And I'm giving you, in my opinion, is one of the three. Okay. You can add another one if you have somebody else in mind. But I'm saying to you, it's...
Now, I think...
approved the structure. And I ask this so directly, Mr. Malachi, because we cannot allow, or we shouldn't allow this platform to be used to malign. You are making the statement, you haven't put to us the facts that back up that, and I hear your explanation why you say that this was created. You say there was no such position before you under the police. I hear that, all of that explanation, but you are making a very specific allegation to criminality, which is one of the things we are supposed to investigate. So it is important that
position was advertised, right? The problem was, when I looked at it, became very to me that these appointment requirements are earmarking specific individual.
No, let's look at the allegation you make.
Okay.
I'm engaging you on the basis of the allegation you make.
Okay.
I'm engaging you on the basis of the allegation you are making in paragraph 30. You are saying this was not in the structure. My understanding, based you, no question about this position being in the structure before June. So this is about the structure. It's not about, that's not the issue. The issue is about what you say in 33.2. The fact that this was not accommodated in the structure. So what I'm saying is, with regard to that issue, I understood you to say that the problem with the structure arose from June 2025, but before that, there was no problem, insofar as the structure was concerned.
Because the structure, Commissioner, was different. The structure of the TMPD before June was the Divisional Head Asset Protection Services. Now, he got appointed whilst the structure was talking to Divisional Head. And it was only in June that the structure was changed and got approved. So the point I'm trying to put to the Commissioner is...
The position advertised, was it not the position that existed in accordance with the structure before June?
No, it was not. The position that existed prior the advertisement, right, was the Divisional Head Asset Protection Services, not Deputy Chief Asset Protection Services.
Divisional head.
Yes.
And Mr. Bolhais was acting as divisional.
That he was acting in the in the position of the divisional head, hence he was already appointed as deputy chief responsible for training and all of that. But it was not two key factors that I took note of. Why would apply?
Let me interrupt you. My question is, what do you know about Deputy Commissioner Spies, about him? I'm not asking you a general question because you're...
That's security. So I don't understand the point you're trying to make in 33.3. And if this is your suspicion and it's not based on fact, it's really not helpful. Because we can contact... Because it's like saying Bolhais should not have been acting in that position because he's not registered with CIRA. Because he's not registered with CIRA. But if you're a Metro Police, you don't need a CIRA registration.
My understanding of what the law says, even though I'm not a lawyer, is as follows. The CIRA Act, it's very clear. It's very clear to the effect that if you are not registered as a security service provider, you should not be allowed to perform, supervise, or manage. It goes further to say, unless they are members of the South African Police Service, they are the National Defence Force, they are the state security agencies. The Act says they are, in terms of the law, they can perform, supervise only when they are still in the employ of their respective institutions. In this instance, I want to put my understanding before the commission of this, that Metro Police officers are not members of the South African Police Service, right? Metro Police officers are not SANDF members as per Section 199, nor employees of the State Security Agency.
Can we leave it here? We will make an inquiry with SIRA and get the answer from them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, these issues that you have in paragraph 33, these suspicions, have you raised and reported them to the city for investigation?
From where I'm sitting, they wouldn't even entertain it now.
So the short answer is you haven't. You haven't lodged a grievance, a complaint.
Supposed to, right? It might instructions that were given to me by commissioners. Despite the differences that I realized, okay, fine, there's no way I can be regard myself over and above the organization. Best interest of serving the community of Tswane, I would do that regardless of the differences that I might have with colleagues here and there. So my commitment is that. That is why, Commissioner, I'm sitting here, it's for 10 months, almost 10 months on suspension, getting a salary, and I'm very much guilty of getting paid, right, for so long without doing anything to benefit the city and or the community of Tswane. I'm sitting here receiving
2 or 3 issues and then I'm done.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Mrs.
Thank you.
Kapan.
Thank you. Just so that we are clear, you said earlier that you have been refused access to your. Did you make such a request?
If my memory still serves me well, I requested, it was a day after I received the summons, and I the director responsible
For us to make findings, which I suggest is for you to assist, he may be minded to get.
Thank you. It was truly to assist him because there is that request which they interacted and they said
Yes.
he can get access, but
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
but we'll deal with it.
Any detail you want from him as to whether he is best to take the matter forward. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.